Pew, pew. Hi, I'm Budgie Montoya from Sarap London. Today we're going to be cooking pork sisig. So firstly we're going to prep the pork belly. Just want to cut it into manageable pieces. With your pork belly you want nice sort of fat layering. This dish is all about textures, different textures. So when the fat hits the pan, it's going to start to caramelize. The skin's going to have different textures to the rest of the meat. We're just going to season this up. Keep it simple and just add some salt and pepper. Just make sure you get that on there. Don't need to really put any oil in there because there's enough fat in there. Now you want to put this in a sort of a tray or in this case a griddle pan so the fat sort of renders out. And then you just want to get it into the oven for about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, just to cook it off. You want temperature to be about the 200 degrees mark. Cool, so you just want to keep an eye on this pork. You want to give it a flash cook, so just keep an eye so it doesn't burn. Like I said, you want to keep the temperature at about 200 degrees Celsius. Just give it a couple of turns just so it doesn't burn on one side. So that's done. That's about 20 minutes or so. Just gonna let that cool down a little bit and then we'll chop it all up. In the meantime, let's get the other pan in the Roccbox just to heat it up. I'm gonna drain off some of that fat.
Any pork chop anecdotes?
Pork chop anecdotes. None safe for work.
Well, you know, your first one, your last one, your favourite one.
You'll never forget your first pork, though, do you? Cool, so we just want to chop this all up, be rough and random with it. Again, you're going to get all different sort of textures when you put it in the hot sizzling plate, which is hot. Preferably wait for it to cool down a little bit more. Now your pan's nice and hot, bit of oil in there. Get most of your onions in there, about 3/4 of it. So we just want to saute that off until it's nice and translucent, and then we're just going to keep building it, adding each ingredient one by one. Garlic, a little bit of chili. You want the white bit of the spring onions. The green bit you'll leave to the end. Get that back in there, saute that. All right, so that's when that's nice and sauteed there. Let's add the pork. And then we'll add a splash of soy sauce. Back in the oven. You want to cook off most of the soy sauce, and then we'll just add some mayonnaise, a little bit of calamansi juice, and give that a good mix. So add a bit of calamansi juice, which is a very typical Filipino ingredient. It's a native lime. It's basically a cross between, sort of, in flavor-wise, a kumquat and I guess a lime. I guess it's the clues in the name, right? Very ubiquitous in the Philippines. We use it pretty much for everything, and it just brings a lot of great acidity, very summery flavors. So that's pretty much ready to go. We're gonna sort of finish things up now. We just need to heat up our sizzling plate. So get that Gozney high and get this in there. And you want to bring that to raging hot is the technical term. The sizzling plate is really important part of this recipe. Either you use a sizzling plate or like a cast iron skillet or something like that you can get really hot. And when you put the sisig mix in there, it starts to caramelize and create different textures in the dish. A little bit of oil. little bit more calamansi juice. Crack an egg on there. Give that a good mix. So sizzling sisig, or sisig is a traditional Pulutan dish. Pulutan is a word that we use basically to describe food that you have with a beer or a cold drink. So don't forget your beer with this or whatever drink choice you like, as long as it's nice and cold. Bit of spring onions, garnish, and there you have it. Sizzling sisig. You can have it with some rice, or you can have it on its own. But what you can't not have is a ice cold beer. Yeah. So for the full recipe, go to gozney.com. Wish that was the solution to all of life's problems, isn't it? Just brine it. Just brine it. Brine it good.